Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Today we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends Hasbro Pulse exclusive Spidey and His Amazing Friends 3-pack, or Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Spidey and Amazing Friends is the new one with Miles and Gwen, yeah? Yeah, anyway. The Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Iceman, Spider-Man, obviously, and Firestar, and the dog, whose name I can't remember, and I don't feel like trying to find it, so you're just gonna have to be mad at me this whole review. I'm really excited to have this, as I am with all the things that I pick up. I'm excited to have it, and then, you know, we figure out if it's a good or bad figure after the fact. But this does not disappoint. There are a couple things that I would change, but, I mean, really, the price of admission on this, like, other than this, the nostalgia behind it and everything, is this Spider-Man. This is, I'm just going to spoil this right out the gate for everybody. This is the best Spider-Man figure that we've ever gotten from Hasbro. Just period. There's no contest whatsoever. And getting Firestar, Bobby, and the dog are all... I keep wanting to call her Lucy, but that's my dog's name. And I feel like Lucy was a dog that looked like that in a movie or something. But these... just getting the three of them is the cherry on top for getting this Spider-Man. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into what everyone comes with. So, first off, as you can see, they all come with open hands. That is my favorite accessory on figures, like, entirely. If a figure comes with multiple hands and all that stuff, I always want it to be at least fists and splayed out hands. I love splayed out hands. They're very dynamic. They're, good for action. They're good for running. They're good for relaxed poses. They're good for all of it. And they're good for like talking, sort of gesturing. And they're just perfect. They're the perfect hands to come with anything, But I guess let's take a look at Firestar's accessories first, because she technically... The only reason I'm going to say this is because she comes with her, and, like, I feel like that's technically her accessory, because from what I know from the show, isn't she Firestar's dog? I feel like that's accurate. But she comes with the, obviously, splayed out hands, which these are reuse from the Spinneret 2-pack with the Renew Your Vows Spidey. But she comes with these splayed out hands, which are very nice. I do like these. If it could autofocus. There we go. And then she has this head sculpt, which I love this head sculpt. Kind of looks a little bit like Laurie Holden, just a little bit if you catch it at the right angle, like right here. But when you get it head on, it doesn't look like that. But I love the curls and stuff. It's very retro, and I enjoy it. I'm not the biggest fan of this head, which I feel like, isn't this one more of a comic-accurate one? Less than the show. But the windswept with a different mask, I like it. And then if you really wanted to, you could heat up and pop the mask off and switch them. You just got to be very careful about it, because it's such a flimsy plastic that you don't want to tear it. She also comes with a pair of fists, and... she wouldn't be Firestar without her fire effects, so yeah, no grip hands or anything like that, but definitely comes with what she needed to. And speaking of what she needed to come with, here is the dog, which is so cute. I love this. I'm definitely going to have this over here in the display, in the diorama. But you can see like the little feet and all that stuff, and the fur, all of it looks so good. It's painted very well, no real misses or nothing that I can see. And I think proportion-wise, I think she's pretty solid too, for what I've seen of the show. But no articulation whatsoever on this dog. Although... Oh, I lied! Oh my god, she does have articulation! Holy crap! So yeah, her head can look up. Okay. Her head can look forward, and it can rotate. So basically, I think it's a ball joint, but I don't want to... Oh yeah, okay, cool. It is. It's a ball joint. That's so cool. I did not realize that was the case at first, and then I saw that little shadow right there, and I'm like, can it move? But nice. See, that's why I love reviewing. I think I said that in the last review that I did too. But you really just catch things... by surprise, like whenever you do a review, you catch things that you may not have missed or that you may not have seen. But now taking a look at Bobby's accessories, of course, as I said, there are the splayed out hands on him currently, but he also comes with a pair of fists, which look really nice. They have the little bit of shading on here, and we'll get into the shading on a couple of them too, because they both actually have shading here and there, which is pretty cool. But they both look good. They have a little bit, it's not symmetrical by any means, which is good, because then it wouldn't look as organic, you know what I mean? Then he comes with this really cool ice base stand, which I do enjoy. I like this. I think it's cool. It kind of, when at first glance, I thought it was a reuse of the one that came with the Hulk from the 20th anniversary. Like, I thought that they just kind of re-sculpted that this way, but this is a completely different new piece. And it actually might not be new. I think, wasn't there a retro wave Bobby that came with this? I feel like, and maybe it was like clear or something. But it has a peg hole. It's nice. It's not bad. It's kind of flimsy. And then we have Spidey's accessories. And his accessories, the only thing that differs between the Amazing Fantasy one and this one is that this one does not come with the web gripping hands or the webs, but he does come with, of course, the wall crawling hands. And then he comes with a pair of fists, which look very nice. No real mess-ups on the webs on the hands, which is really good. That's always very nice when they're not messed up. And then, of course, you know, it wouldn't be Spider-Man without the signature whip hands, which these look really good as well. They pour onto the figure just fine. No real problems whatsoever. And now let's get into the detail of everybody individually here. So first we're going to take a look at Bobby because he's the most reuse. I mean, they're all technically reuse, but he's like the oldest one that we've seen countless times. So it's just the Pizza Spidey, and it has a new head. And is it just me? I feel like it looks a little bit like Syndrome. Like in the eyes, kind of like right here. I feel like it looks like Syndrome, but I could be wrong. But I really do like the shading on this, the cell shading almost. Because, well, one, if he was just completely white, he would kind of look not really like Iceman. He'd kind of look more... There's a character that looks almost like entirely white, I feel like. And I feel like it's a Spider-Man villain. Maybe? I don't know. But it's also kind of less white and more kind of a baby blue, but like a very faded one, and then these blue lines on here. But I think that this Iceman is maybe supposed to be, like, you could fit him in with your cel-shaded X-Men stuff. Maybe. I don't remember what he looked like in the 90s show, but, you know, if you didn't really care that much, but you had the cel-shaded stuff, you could definitely put him in with them, and it would look pretty good. And then Firestar, the only thing that's new on her is her head sculpts, because I think that these are two new head sculpts, maybe. I don't know, I don't have the original one, but everything else is reuse. And one thing I have found with this figure, which we'll get into it more with articulation, is that if you want her head to be able to move more, you need to put her collar piece up in this hair. Because if you try it this way, trying to move the head, it really resists it. But you pull the hair like that, scoop it up, kind of flips her collar a little bit more and looks a little bit more 70s, but it allows for more movement when it comes to this head. So, but yeah, she has really nice fire detailing. It's not printed terribly or nothing. Looks very good. I like this body that they chose. I feel like we haven't seen this one in a while. Like, I feel like this one has a lot more musculature than the other ones. And then last but certainly not least, we have Peter. This is the perfect Spider-Man. Perfect. I don't care what anybody says. This is perfect for me. It might not be perfect for you, and that's okay. But this is the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. And it's completely the new Amazing Spider-Man, the new Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. Because I thought, for some reason, whenever they showed the renders, I thought that they had switched out the shoulders and the arms. Because I thought that they had used the same ones that they did for the cel-shaded one from the 90s show. But they didn't. They went completely with the Amazing Fantasy. And if I bring him in real quick, you can see it's exactly the same mold. And I'm going to switch this head onto here, and I'm also going to put the Renew Your Vows feet, because those actually line up better, so I can put the toe joints on this Spider-Man, and then he'll be perfect, because he would be perfect right now, but see that resistance like that going to the side there? I don't know what's going on with that, but I do not trust it. And this one lens actually on this side has a little smudge, if you can see that right there. So, but yeah, we got a perfect red and a perfect blue, in my opinion, for a good old classic Spider-Man. And his symbol, it's not too big like the Renew Your Vows one, in my opinion. And it's not too, like, classic like the Amazing Fantasy original one. I just think that they did such a good job. And I think that it works for the show perfectly, but it also looks just like the classic comic version of him. The only thing that you might want to change to make it like your definitive look for his, you know, classic look could be putting on a Renew Your Vows head, maybe. I think this doesn't look bad, to be honest. I think it's a little big. But you might even be able to mess with it and like maybe heat up and push the cheeks in a little to make it look like he just kind of has a big head. It's almost like the ultimate Spider-Man proportions, I feel like. The ultimate Peter Parker proportions, where his head was just so big. But yeah, it's not bad. And since we all have these figures on, you know, in some form or fashion, because I feel like all of us got the Amazing Spider-Man, the Amazing Fantasy version of Peter, I'm not going to go over the articulation, because if you want to see that, you can go to that video for it. But we have countless, you know, characters that have these bodies and whatnot now, so I'm not going to go over the articulation, so let's get into some size comparisons. Here they are next to the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man and the 20th anniversary Captain America, and I love this size among them. I think that this looks really good. And I'm really excited to finally have an Iceman on the shelf. And I'm not super familiar with Firestar, but I do like her in the sense of being able to put her on the shelf with, you know, the rest of the Spidey characters. And then here they are next to the Renew Your Vows Spidey on that bigger body and the Mezco Netflix Daredevil. And I think this works well as well. If there's a couple, you know, like if you want to use the Iron Man or the Cable or whatever Mafex figures you want to use that could kind of fit in with your Legends stuff, I think this scale works. I think it looks pretty solid. And the Renew Your Vows one, it's obviously a more adult version of Peter, but yeah, even among these, like all the Spider-Mans that we've gotten this year, which I think I may do a video talking about, like in comparing all the Spider-Mans that we've gotten this year, because there have been so many, and I love them all, and I think they all have their own merits, and I would love to just compare them all. I think that would be really cool. Overall, my light died, and this set is just perfect for what it needs to be. I think that for the people that want it for the sake of the nostalgia from the show, it's perfect. If you wanted your first Iceman, the best classic Spidey that we could possibly get, Firestar, and then the dog, whose name I still can't remember, I think that this is perfect for you. Because this is my first time getting a Firestar, first time getting an Iceman, the dog, and then a classic Spidey. I think overall, it's an amazing set to get. There's really nothing that I can say. The only thing that I would change, and ideally would make it better, would be if they switched the body up for Iceman. I think the pizza Spidey mold is outdated, and I think we need a new body for it. But it's okay. It's not flimsy and like over, like it's been used too much kind of thing. So that's good. But oh, I also forgot to mention with Firestar, she could fit into your cell shaded stuff too, because they put some like streaks to her hair. So yeah, and they didn't put any of that on Spidey, which I'm actually kind of glad, because I guess if you wanted to put the cell shaded stuff together, you could use the Walmart one that just came out, which is actually surprisingly popping up in stores, which it's unheard of to see a Walmart exclusive actually in a store. I'm going to probably do that Spidey comparison here relatively soon as I get that Mafex one and get that reviewed. But this has been such a good year for Marvel Legends, and there's only a couple of other figures that are on my wish list that I hope come out next year, and then I'm honestly kind of set in terms of like what I would want for a classic display, which is crazy to think about. And I know as soon as I say that, Hasbro's like, well, then no, we're not going to make any of that stuff that you need until like 2085, after we've drained you dry of all your money. Which, please don't. Please give me a modern Iron Man suit. Please, I need it so bad. I need the modern Iron Man. Well, it's not modern anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. That armor. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That very beautiful armor. But yeah, that and maybe some pinless Fantastic Four would be pretty cool. But yeah, that's going to do it for me, and I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.